Hi everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have another review for you in the French line. It's the Tier 8, the AMX M4 49, which is in the store right now. So I thought it would be timely to give you guys a review, a guide, and then you can make up your own mind if it's good for you. So as always, we will have a look at a full tech spec, giving you all the information you need as to how to play this tank. We will use blitzhanger.com for that, which is an excellent asset, and all of you guys should be using it. This is an excellent tank, by the way. I really like it, and there's a few reasons for that which we'll get into during the course of the video. As a premium tank, it has 175% credit coefficient, so not the best in its tier, but it's one of the top in its tier for sure, and it's going to earn you guys a lot of credits with a 175% coefficient. So definitely in terms of premium tank, worthwhile. Current price in the shop is 7,500 gold standalone, and that's about 20 euros. You get all the equipment slots opened up, which is great because you know I fucking hate when you don't get the equipment unlocked with a premium tank. You also get revolutionary camo, the revolutionary camo, which is the epic camo, etc., a garage slot and an avatar. It's also in a bundle with the Chimera, right, for 12,500 gold, which is about 35 euro. If you don't have the Chimera, then I definitely recommend to get the bundle rather to buy the tanks individually. For example, the Chimera on its own is 9,000 gold, right? So that therefore the bundle is giving you guys a 55% discount with getting the two tanks together. So definitely would, if you don't have either tank, then definitely recommend you get both and save some money. And there's a full review on the Chimera, which I'm going to put a link in the description as well. In terms of setting up this tank, I would use pate, croissant, coffee, and improved fuel. That maxes out the performance in terms of view range, rate of fire, etc. The gun system is 100 millimeters. It's 8-second reload if you use a gun rammer, 8.6 if you use calibrated shells. On the pen, you get 232 meters of pen with AP. APCR gives you 263, 50 with HE using gun rammer. If you go up to calibrated shells, it's 244, 276, and 55 millimeters of pen, respectively. You're going to get 310 average damage points with AP, 260 with APCR, and HE is going to give you 350 rolls. Now, muzzle velocity is pretty good. It's 1300 meters per second with AP and HE. They do the same muzzle velocity. APCR is going to give you a bump up to 1625 meters per second. That's pretty decent. It's really acceptable for a tier 8 heavy. Therefore, you would expect the gun index is going to be good, and it is. It's 14.5 ranking, which is actually better than a Jagdpanther 2, so very good gun handling. And the mobility index is 3.2, so therefore excellent as well, much better than most heavy. So this tank is very agile and mobile for a heavy tank. If you don't know what the gun index and the mobility index are, they're simple one-digit figures that we worked out formulas for that allow you to compare tanks on a like-for-like basis, and there's full information in the Advanced Blitz playlist if you want to check it out. It does 40 kilometers per hour, 15 in reverse, so therefore it is mobile, and that's sort of playing into that good mobility index we saw. 10 degrees of gun depression, 20 degrees of elevation. What does that tell us? It tells us that this tank has excellent gun alignment. If you are wondering what gun alignment is, basically it's the ease with which you can align your gun with the enemy tanks, and this has excellent gun alignment. Not so good news on concealment numbers. If you take an RU-251 with a view range of 304 meters, this tank gets spotted up 379 meters. If it's still and not firing, 289 if it's moving, going into 295 and 297 if it's still and firing or moving and firing. So you're going to get spotted up, but then you kind of expect that with a heavy tank. It's not what its gameplay is about. Now, as a heavy tank, first thing, can it side scrape? Let's have a look. Put it into a typical side scraping position, and the answer is yes, it can. Look at those relative armor numbers up on the left hand side. Impressive. Especially as it doesn't really have too much armor at the side, but its relative armor numbers, if you go into a side scrape position, are good. So, first question answered, yes, you can side scrape in this tank. If you look at the turret, almost impenetrable. The cupola is vulnerable, but it's a small target. So, just be aware of that if you're going to go hull down. Front on, it has a lot of armor. Really, on the bottom plate is vulnerable, and even then, onto big caliber weapons. At the back, you don't really have much armor at all. You can be penned by HE up the butt by pretty much any gun system at tier 8, and a lot of gun systems at tier 9. And if you go up to tier 7, if you go up to tier 9, then yeah, you're going to be penned by everything. But this tank, front on, is a monster, right? You can see here, right? it is a monster, very difficult to pen at its tier 7, tier 8, and even going up to tier 9, really just that lower plate and the coupler are all that's vulnerable. And here's why I like this tank, right? In terms of tactics, it gives you 3 options, right? You can go front line because it has that massive frontal armor, difficult to pen, particularly if you're top tier. It can also be played as a Heavium because it has that mobility, so it's a second tactical option this tank gives you. And it has a third tactical option because of that 10 degrees of gun depression and that turret you can go hold down. So there's 3 basic tactical options that you can have with this tank. And because it has that diversity in its options, it's a very adaptable tank. It's a tank that can be used in many different situations, in many different roles, and can adapt itself to whatever map you're put on. And that's why I like this tank. Many tanks restricted to a single type of gameplay, or at least they excel only at one type of gameplay. This tank has 3 different tactics at which it can excel. And you can therefore adapt depending on the setup of the team, the map you're given, choose one of those tactics, and you know that this tank will deliver for you. So pretty good, right? And that's why I like this tank. Apart from the fact that it is a good looking tank with the legendary camo, it's excellent. Excellent in terms of its appearance. And of course, it's a very good credit earner, which is what you want from a premium tank, right? So let's have a look at some gameplay. We're going to have a look at, I think it's Wilter Malakova. Yes, it is. And we're going to have a look at a mastery game of this tank. I think I shot this yesterday. I think it was yesterday, yeah. So, guys, oh, by the way, if you are visiting the channel, please drop me a subscription. I'm only about 40-something subscribers away from 40,000 in total. So if you could be one of those additional 40, I'd really appreciate it, and you would be eternally in my gratitude. So thank you very much for that. Now, guys, you know, in terms of the gameplay here, again, I'm utilizing one of the tactics that I said, right? I'm playing as a Heavium. I'm going to support my meds because I have a feeling that it's going to be a 2v2, and if I go, I'm going to overload a 3-2, and I can push on into A because I have that frontal armor. I'm not really afraid. I know, I checked the setup, I know their meds are 2 tier 7s. So even if they both come onto me front on, as long as I keep that front face them, it's going to be really difficult for them to pen me if they can at all. So this has worked out. Of course, if all of the reds had come to A, then I need to adapt. I can hold back a bit. But you know, with only their 2 meds going, or fast movers going towards A, we're in a really good position. So now we're in a good position. I can clear off the T-71. I've already captured the base at A. Coming up now behind the M4, the Egyptian Sherman, and put a nice round into him, and we're able to clear him off. So far those tactics worked out. We've taken out 3 of the enemy tanks, cleared the flank, cleared their fast movers, and taken A. So really, really good start to the game. Now, of course, because I went to A, we are a tank down at C. Now, I had hoped that my team would be able to hold C until we came to help them and flank. It doesn't seem that's the case. Also, you know, it seems that they're going to need help right away. So that's why I decided not to go and flank, but to actually go towards B. I need to engage the enemy as quickly as possible, because now you see it's 4v4. So while we started that game very well, it kind of went to shit pretty quickly, and our heavies got steamrolled. And I'm not sure why. Obviously, I can't see with their gameplay, but it seems maybe they pushed a bit too hard. I'm not sure. But look, we have a decent position still. We captured the base earlier. We've got more points, and you know, with this tank, you know, when it's front on, you know, with that gun system that it has, you saw there the good gun handling and operation there. Nice shot to clear the terrain. Now we're 4v3 up. And now I can, when I know where the reds are, I can utilize those 3 different types of tactics that we spoke about. So now I'm in a hold down position, right? This tank is very, very difficult to pen hold down. Now the Chieftain is also a hold down tank. He has a good rate of fire, even better than me. But, you know, when I get into a hold down position and front on, and with really, really good handling and pen numbers that this gun system has, able to push onto him. And I'm also able, and again, now we're adopting another one of the tactics. We're going front on, right? Because, you know, I was hold down, now went front on. And that's why I like this game and why I chose this game to show you guys, because actually all three of the potential tactic types that we discussed in the technical review, we see here in operation. So firstly, playing as a Heavium, then we saw a bit of hull down action, and now we see going front onto the enemy in action, and even a bit of side scraping thrown in there, getting the bounce off the Chieftain. Unfortunately, can't side scrape in two different directions at once, or at least it's very difficult to do that, so that's how I got smashed by the object. But we're going to go on, and I think we're going to clear off both the object and the Chieftain, and now we're in a 3v2, and it's going to go to just one red left in a second. So in the end, despite that little squeaky bum moment when we went 4-4 down, we're actually going to be able to clear them off. Fluff a couple of shots onto the VK. Difficult to pen VK and when you've got a 100mm gun. But you know, straight if you get time to aim, you can take him out. And I'm actually going to clear him off now in a second as well. Fluff another shot here. He's doing the right thing. He's moving and giving me a very small target. Get lucky there. Absolutely do get lucky. If anybody tells you that you get a mastery game without getting lucky, they're lying to you. There's always a little bit of luck involved, even for the very, very best players out there. But of course, the very best players are the ones who will admit that that's the case. And if you've watched Meadsy or any of those guys, they will tell you that. So there we go, pretty decent game, 3 kills, almost 3.7k of damage, quite a few nice bounces in there as well. And I think a good example of the gameplay of this tank. And as I said, one of the reasons I particularly like this tank is the fact that it gives you those 3 different tactical options, all of which work very well, very effectively in this tank. And you need to adapt those based on the games that you're playing in. So you've got the front on option, hold down option, and you've got to play it as a Heavium as well, supporting your meds. Obviously, if you're top tier, all 3 are applicable. If you are bottom tier, then you need to be maybe a bit more cautious about going front line. And you need to adapt your gameplay. But of course, it gives you those tactical options, and that's what I like about this tank. Apart from the fact it's a good looking tank, effective tank, and a decent premium in terms of its credit coefficient. So let's have a recap of the key points of this tank. So firstly, you know, it is an excellent premium tank, and with a credit coefficient, it's going to earn credits for you, right? And that's what you want. That's what we always want from premium tanks. We want those tanks to earn us credits. That's why we get premiums, right? At the moment, standalone, it's €20, which is what, $22, whatever. And what is it in the UK, 4 and 6 or something? I don't know. And if you don't have the Chimera, the bundle is an even better offer. It's 55% discount, right? This tank can be played as frontline, as we discussed. It can be played as a Heavium, as we discussed, and as we saw in the gameplay. So there's 2 different tactical options. Then, of course, because of that turret, because of that gun depression, it can also be played as a hull down. So that gives us that 3rd tactical option. So you're not going to be short of options in the opening sequence of the game as to what to do. You're going to have various different options that can be applied depending on the setup and the map that you're given. And this tank is very, very effective in all 3 tactical situations and is adaptable to any map. So I hope you found that useful. I hope you found it enjoyable. Cheers, Mush. Thanks for watching. If you were those 40 subs to get me up to 40k, really appreciate it. And to all the other subs who have already been there for a long journey with me, thank you so much. And now I guess all that remains for me to say is, as always, pants off.
That's all, folks.